해관우대 해관우대 관우대 해관우대 해관우대 관우대.
In the beginning, I was concerned about the language loss that we were seeing everywhere in our community as well as other Native communities. And when I went from place to place, I found that there were a lot of good people out there doing good work and trying to find ways to revitalize Native languages. But in spite of that, we were meeting with limited success. And so we tried to figure out how can we do this in a way that's going to be a little bit more effective. I knew that language revitalization had more to do with who we are and how we can make change ourselves. And it seemed like we were being stopped. We were being blocked in some ways. So I got some information about the theater for a living and began to become a bit more familiar with the language of theater through some workshops, and also thought hard about who we are as Native people, about our relationships, our families, how we learn, and I began to think about language learning not just as an activity that we hand over to the schools, but it's also something that we hear in our interactions with family members and in the community. Ideally, that's how it happens. Language is learned in families. It's not learned in a school, at least not by itself. And so, in thinking about that, I had to try to figure out how are we going to build on the strengths that we have. We have Native families, and we've lost some of the practices that we've always had, and therefore we've lost the opportunity to hear language and to speak it. So how would we make the connection between those of us who were first English speakers and the people who have the language who are first Native speakers? How do we make that connection? That was a big question. And I saw that there was the possibility that if we could use the language of theater, and if we could somehow communicate in that way, that we'd be able to bridge that. And in doing so, we might be able to get at some of these issues of language.
I can't remember if it was email or a phone call now from Gail saying that she wanted to do some theater work on issues of language loss. And so I came, and we made plays in the community, and the response was very strong, and Gail and the other people in the group really liked what happened. Well, in this case, interactive theater is what's called forum, F-O-R-U-M theater, and it originates with a man named Augusto Boal, and he's a Brazilian, and founded a body of work called the Theater of the Oppressed. And it's a way of having theater become once again part of people's everyday language.
As I became more familiar with the theater of the oppressed, theater for living, I thought maybe that there was some promise there, and a group of people who had been doing this work, I approached them, and then along with Vera, started to invite people in the community to embark on this journey with us. We've been working all week at Zubayig on some plays, which we're going to share with you, and hope that you'll share something with us as well. The person that's been helping us with this work is David Diamond. He's a theater director from Headlines Theater, Vancouver, British Columbia. So he spent the week with us and helped us to develop what we're going to share with you tonight. This is David Diamond.
Okay, folks, thank you for coming. I'm going to be the guy who's going to ask you to move up. Please. Please, because this is going to create a real chasm between us and you. So if before we do anything, if you could move up, I really appreciate that. So would they. Thank you very much. We're going to show you some plays tonight. These plays have come out of a workshop that we've been doing this all week. And part of a 3-year-long project to look at issues of language reclamation. During the week, we use different games and exercises to look at issues inside these people's lives around issues of language. And out of that came these plays. My role in this has not been to tell them what to make their plays about. My role has been to help them to take the plays that they've made and help them make the best theater possible that we can in a week, which is not a very long period of time. The plays that you're going to see are not normal plays. Normally in the theater, you know, the play builds into a crisis and the crisis resolves. They fix the problem, you come out of the theater and you go, am I ever glad they solved that problem? Now I don't have to. These plays are different. These plays show a problem and they offer no solution. Because it's like the plays turn around to you, the audience, and ask, what do we do to solve this problem? And so we're going to ask you to do this with us tonight to help solve the problems in the play, but not through discussion, by action, by coming into the plays and helping us inside the plays solve the problems in the plays. I know that might sound scary. For now, I'm just going to ask you to watch the first play. Can we get ready for the first piece, please?
Najikewazine, najikewazine.
Passamaquoddy words? Would you like to go ask your grandfather and your grandmother how to say thank you in Passamaquoddy?
Do I have to?
Well, you don't have to, but I'd really like for you to do it for me. If you do it, I'll let you play with my drums.
Oh, ya entonces, Aligosid.
Aligosid and so me.
How do you say thank you?
Look at him.
Gagging so woolly one. Gemma, Bobby. Gemma.
What's going on over here? What did I tell you about teaching her the language? Kinder, get in your room! Kinder, get in your room! Kinder, what did I tell you about trying to learn that
I
language?
want to learn it.
I don't care, get in your room! What did I tell you?
I
told you not to talk to her in that language. Look at you, drinking. Mom, what did I tell you not to say? You are required. Why didn't you teach me that?
Stop arguing.
You just mind your own business.
It is my business. You realize your daughter's in her room and she's crying because of that. I'm making it my business. Look at her.
And that's the end of that play. Okay, so I have a question for you. Do you see characters in this play who are in struggle, either with something inside themselves?
Yes.
Yes, or with something outside themselves? You do, obviously. Do other folks as well? Yes, many of you are nodding your heads. Okay, good. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to go back to the beginning. Now, there's a couple things that's important for you to know about both plays tonight. Everybody here is playing a character in this play and in the other play as well. Nobody's playing themselves. So, for instance, Gina here. Gina does some things you might disagree with in the play, right? It's important if you run into her some other time, you don't go, you were that woman who did those nasty things in that play. She's playing a character, okay, like everybody is. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back to the beginning. We're going to play this play through a second time. This second time through, if you see a character and you understand the struggle that they're engaged in, you understand how it is they're trying to achieve something, and that they're being blocked, either by something inside them or outside them, and you have an idea about how to solve that problem, about how to make your way through this in a healthy way. I want you to yell, stop, wave your arms in the air, do whatever it is to get my attention. The action here will stop. You'll then come out of your seat, here into the playing area, and take that character's place and try out your idea. The other actors will just be the other characters with you, and we'll see what happens. Interventions place the mom, okay? And from where?
Just as she's coming in.
So this argument is happening here. Okay, here we go.
No, that's Jessie now.
What did I tell you? Not to teach her that language. Look at that. Mom, I don't know what you're saying. You need to speak English.
Don't argue with them. Go easy on them.
No, look at them. They're drinking. Trying to teach the kids the language. What do you need that for? What do we need the language for?
The language is
Look at
important.
it. Why? Why is it so important?
That's who we are.
How come I don't have it?
You don't have it because of the evolution, the way things happen. When you were growing up.
Yeah, this is what evolution brings on. I look like an Indian donut.
Well, listen, when you were younger and you were growing up, we had to worry about survival. We had to worry about getting you to work, getting you to school. We had to teach you their ways so that you could go to their school.
But I'm not there.
You're not. That's
I
right.
am now.
You think like that. You talk like that, but you can be like us again. The time is right. And
You want her to go through what I went through? Back and forth, back and
it's a
forth.
different time now. Back then, it was survival. We had to do it that way. We didn't want it. But now we don't have to do it that way. We have a chance to get that back.
Why is this surviving?
This is the result. These people worked very hard for us. They sacrificed a lot. We shouldn't ask any more of them.
So what about my sacrifice?
We can help you. It's time for you to learn too. We can teach everyone together. And your daughter would learn the same way you will learn. We'll all learn together and we can gain back that identity.
Well, it sounds awful.
No, it's not easy. It's very hard. You can see how hard it is. It causes a lot of pain.
I don't want to go through that pain.
We will. That's part of the evolution. We always have this habit of looking into the past in today's eyes. We need to see their time through their eyes, the way they saw it.
We can't have that life.
Of course not. It's a different time. It's a different place. We're different people.
Well, isn't that language that life?
Once we get the language, that's only a piece of that life. It's the culture. It's the way you see things. A language is a small part of it and helps us see that. Go get your mother. Let her know how much you love her.
Stay focused, Ruby, just for a moment. Stay focused, Ruby. I'm going to come and touch this character, Mom. And when I touch her, I'm going to ask her to say her secret thought as the mother. Not the thing that she would say out loud in the scene, but the thing that the character she feels is really thinking, feeling inside. The secret thought. She says, I want to hold my baby. And when your mom just said, go to your dog, you said no. Let's come on. Shake your body. Shake your body.
Dagnud múlan chigaga, that holod yagunalun ke.
There are three sisters. And mother and daughter, and the mother of the sisters. And we are in two different locations. Yeah, I'll get that. We're in two different locations. There's a separation here. This is a different building. It's a home that she's in. She's not here with them. And Gail over here, just stand up for a second. Her cousin. Her cousin, I'm sorry. Cousins. Okay? Okay. Here we go. Nice and loud.
Oh, that was a good meal.
Yep, that was.
But we need to hurry up and clean up.
Hurry
We're running
up.
late.
What for?
It's time to go see Graham in the nursing
Graham?
home. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Maggie, hurry up, get ready. She's been asking for you.
What did you tell
I don't
her?
want to go see Graham. What do you mean you don't want to go see her?
Every time we go over there, she speaks Passamaquoddy to me, and I don't understand her.
Well, I don't always understand what she says either.
You all done those?
That's your grandmother, Maggie. You better go see her. She might not be around tomorrow.
We have other plans.
We have places.
Gila, you should go see her too.
But we couldn't.
She helped raise both of you. What's wrong with you?
Johan good. How good, Johan?
Maggie, you better hurry up and get in that car with me.
I can always go see her another day.
Well,
She's not going
that's what you
anywhere.
always say. I'm tired of excuses.
She's not going anywhere. We'll meet you over there.
Yeah,
we'll see you later.
Take it easy, Laura.
That's my daughter. They need to go see their grandmother.
Well, you just shoot her right out of the house.
Well, she won't listen. They never listen. All they want to do is go play that loud music and who knows what else in those cars.
You just were talking at her. You weren't talking to
Well, just
her.
never mind. We don't have time to talk about it. Get ready.
Get ready.
Let's go. We gotta go see Graham.
I'm
She's
not
waiting.
going.
You too?
You can't make me
Gee, I'm
go.
tired of you girls always leaving me with all the responsibility. Come on.
No, I'm not going. I'm not going to go see
Fine,
her.
you'll regret it.
No, I won't.
Come on, Carol. Mom?
Yeah, with
How you doing?
Oh, Edgy, well, we now see Laura. Ejected last we
Then look who I brought with me.
Yeah, Carol, Dasson.
And even Vera.
Vera?
Uh-huh.
Hi, Mom. Laura, det var ju Maggie. Did you open the message from Maggie?
I know, she was a little busy today, but she's gonna come, I promise.
Edgy, sick there.
I
Tell her.
You tell her.
No, she don't even talk to me. You tell her.
She'll be
Den
down,
sin
friend.
Maggie.
She'll
Sick
be
där
down.
på Oliva.
And that's the end of this play.
Elamadiak kakakus, elamadiak chigaga.
We're all getting ready to go, Sue Grant.
Okay, so actually dinner's just finished.
Just finished.
Okay.
And you leave the bar.
Well, we better hurry up and clean up. We're running late. You all done, Carol? Dude, you better hurry up, get ready. Graham's waiting.
I'm ready.
You ready? Okay. You coming? Hey, you're supposed to come with me.
What's going on here?
What's going on here? See Graham. What?
No, I'm not going.
I decided because I think and I think next time we should take Easter to her.
Take Easter to her. There's people waiting for us.
Well, they could wait. This one
They
time,
can't
this
wait.
one time, Gail, I think it's very
No,
important.
I don't think so.
Well, for me, it is. And I'm gonna go with them.
Oh, go.
I'm sorry.
Don't ever come talking around to me again about you want to go somewhere.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite things.
Okay, so you are actually going to go. Come on up, come on up. Do you want to go in there?
Yeah.
You do. We will continue.
Hi, Graham. Yeah, but not my Laura. Oh, gee, go back. Will they win? You know what is it? Gus was. And I brought some visitors. When did? Yeah, Carol. And even Vera. Look. Vera. Uh-huh. Look. I told you I'd bring her. I promised you, didn't I? Laura, didn't we begin to come back here to you? Save the best for last, Graham.
Okay, you did.
This character's no Passamaquoddy.
Lagi cuy udah. Cuy gini namanya.
Well, I don't know what she said. I don't know what she said. Helping you, making me embarrassed here.
Lagi cuy cuy nak cuy udah. Cuy dosis.
What
Cuy.
did she say? Real come on.
Beda klasik.
I mean, this one. I don't like the way you treat my sister. Vera.
Vera dan lawan Vera.
I mean my aunt.
Dan lawan Dante.
I don't know, but it feels uncomfortable when I come here at Easter. I'm not trying to upset her. I'm not trying to upset her.
I know, but you're not.
It's okay, Joseph.
You're gonna make her
So
cry.
lagi mana nung yung lawan cuy udah. Cuy. Laura.
Right here, Mom.
Don't know what lesson lagi.
I know. She's all right. We're all doing just fine,
Cuy
Graham.
udah lagi. Carol. Cuy. Kenapa dia udah?
She wants me to kneel down.
That's your baby Graham. Darling bersih.
I just don't understand when you talk Passamaquoddy to me.
No, Mom. Get what you saw? Don't.
Listen.
Now talk.
I can't understand you, Graham.
Nama.
No, I hope you don't feel offended.
Olha, eu disse que aqui um plano, elas que já não há do aí. Nega, vamos com as meninas, pois sim, não vai ficar aqui, né?
That's been, I have to go see Gail now, okay? It was nice to see you, Graham. Bye-bye.
Well, we should be not done as much as how much we would have got. That much, yeah.
What did she say?
She wants a kiss. She wants a kiss.
Okay.
Well, okay, I see.
Happy Easter.
Well, you don't have to bet you, I know.
Bye.
Okay.
Then I'll go to that stage.
Want a break?
Laura.
I'm right here, Graham. I'll never leave you, Graham. I'll take care of you. Even when everybody else is gone.
Merci, I'll let you make you much of heart. When they quit your DS, where you?
I don't know what's going
When
on.
they would sit here, Mackie.
Didn't stay long.
Oh,
But she came to see you, I promised I'll bring her. You know how much she loves you.
okay, understood. You have a desire, maybe I'll stop. And you come and you replace Maggie, and you say right away, let's go see Grandma. I'm ready to go see Grandma. Our character really doesn't want to go there. So just to start off from, there's something that you've got to push through inside this Maggie that you give us, that she can't push through in order to say that, in order to want to go. Can you explain what that is at all? No. But you know you should want to go.
I think it's important to acknowledge all our efforts. I think it's very important to take whatever activities, Christmas, holidays, birthdays, to the elders, since they can't be joining.
He says something very important. This Maggie says something very important. That sisters, come, please. I heard the character say this. Why isn't she here? Nobody answered that question. You put out that question. Did you know that nothing came back? Were you aware of that moment? Yeah. How come that nobody says anything in response to that?
Trying to protect the mother.
Trying to protect her.
I didn't respond because I didn't want to have to fight even more about something else. I'm tired. I'm just tired. I've been doing it all by myself and nobody helps me. Everybody can talk about wanting her home, but nobody's willing to help. That was the problem.
Okay, this character brings up something that everybody knows, but nobody wants to talk about, right? So it's shuffled under the carpet, and then we get there, and everything changes. And I think, and for me, I think it changed. I said to him at one point, remember, this character can't speak Passamaquoddy. And the whole scene changed. Is that right?
Yeah. Right. That's right.
Yeah, you make a choice then to get out.
Right.
Can you talk about that choice?
I think a lot of times when our children are uncomfortable by being put on the spot by even family members, they have a sense of not wanting to be there because they don't fully understand, only part of it.
Right, so it just feels too uncomfortable.
Yeah. Just say hi, I love you, and take off.
Right, which is what you did here.
Yeah.
You appear because you know that's important,
Right.
but so you did what you could do.
I mean, that's not just with children either.
Yeah.
As far as I know. You know.
Noli, Noli da.
Be there and give yourself the permission to tell the truth. And if it means starting to yell at her, yell at her. Instead of going, I don't know, what do you think?
But with my character, when with my character, the way I see it is in there, and doing enough yelling and having enough negativity to go around, that I think if I were Vera, for example, it would be like, you know, there's enough of this. I don't need to add to it.
Yeah, but don't forget, you've got to separate our play, the thing we've made, from what happens in the forum. The forum is all new territory.
That's so hard, switching gears like that,
Yeah.
and then you have to get back where you came from.
Yeah, well, who said life was going to be easy? Push against her, push. Push. Really push and engage. And I want you to play the scene. Come in, look at each other. Come in, play the scenes. You've just seen them. Go, say the lines. Do it. What the hell's going on in here?
Oh, okay.
Go.
What the hell's going on in here?
Push. Can you play the scene?
I want to learn the language.
Go to your room.
No, say no.
No.
Go to your room.
Mom.
Listen to your mother.
Mom.
Tell her, get her out of here.
Go to your room. Damn it.
Do it again. Play the scene. Don't laugh. It's not fun.
Do it over
Do it
again.
over again.
What's going on in here?
I want to learn the language.
What? I don't we understand when she's talking to us. I don't understand how come you can speak it and I can't, and Carol can't. I don't know what happened, and then I passed it on to Maggie.
Well, what do you think? What do you think, Carol? What do you say?
I don't know, you were holding out, and every time we get together and talk, we talk in English because we're fighting about something. No wonder Maggie doesn't want to be around us.
I don't blame her either.
Freeze. Freeze. Stay, no, look at each other. Don't look at me. Stay frozen. Stay where you in the emotional state that you were in. I'm going to clap my hands, and when I do, I want each of you using as much of your body as you can to take one step in the direction of getting what you want from each other. One step in the direction of getting what you want from each other. Use as much of your body as you can. And stay there.
The work that we actually do to create the collective story isn't always it's not always a perfect story that we end up creating. It's not always, in fact, it's not even very polished. It's not shiny at all. But the process of being willing to offer that story for us to enter into a forum and then try to move toward bringing some of the polish into those stories with the community through the dialogue, I think was what I think kept me coming back, because it wasn't just about me. It wasn't just for me to resolve or solve or shine up. It was all of us. So I just was doing my part, and I'm glad that I was invited, because I have certainly gained a lot from the process.
Ijizig na masid yak monim kwasi.
Hi, Tina. Oh my goodness, you're always scaring me.
I'm sorry.
Geez.
What are you doing?
I'm getting some flowers for my mother.
They're so beautiful.
I know, she loves it when I take her flowers.
No wonder. Gina, do you have a few minutes? I think we've got a serious problem here.
In?
Gina, I heard a rumor about Melissa today.
My name is Joe Crow Jr. and I work for my father's law firm here in New York City, Crone & Crone. I'm sure you've heard about us.
Yes, I have.
You have? Great. May I have this dance, please?
With me?
With you.
You heard what?
I heard Melissa met a man in New York City.
Yo, what about James?
Oh, no, it's not about James. She met a man in New York City and he offered her a job.
Oh, you gotta stop that. Always spreading rumors. You're gonna have no friends after a while. Jeez, we got this plan. I've just talked to her. We've been talking about this language immersion plan all along.
Okay.
You better stop spreading rumors around her. I'm not gonna be your friend after a while. Jeez.
You know, Miss Francis, there's a position in my father's law firm for a bright young woman like yourself. And it pays $125,000 a year plus expenses.
Well, I made a commitment to my sister. I'm supposed to come home and help her with the language immersion program.
Well, I made you an offer.
So you're absolutely sure she's coming home to work?
Oh, she's coming home. You better stop.
What a relief.
Gee, we had this planned.
Election time is coming right around the corner.
I know.
We're going to have to run her for council.
Tribal governor, more like it.
All right.
Man, we sure were busy today. I mean, 15 pizzas.
15 pizzas?
I sure could use a beer. You want one?
Sure.
Oh, did you hear about that fight last night? Fight? Who was it? Bob and Bruce. They're always fighting. Jeez. Hey, guys! Hey, guys! What's going on? Can I get you a beer? Yeah, sure. Yes. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe what happened to me. I met this guy. Hey, you met a guy? It's not like that. Anyway, he offered me this great job in New York, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. You think I should take it?
Wow, what a great idea.
Yeah, great idea. You mean you'd have to move there for good?
Well, that's what I have to do.
Well, what about us? What about your family? What about James?
Well, I mean, we could still visit, and God, if James loves me, he'll come with me, right?
I can't believe you're just gonna ditch us.
Well, God, I don't want to get stuck on this reservation the rest of my life.
What are you saying, that we're all just stuck on the reservation?
Well, I mean, God, look at you. You haven't done a damn thing with your life. No, wait. It's just, this really means a lot to me. And I really want to do this. It's just, I need to know. Do I have your support? Of course you do. That's what best friends are for. Congratulations! Melissa, what is it?
Joanne, and just back in those introduces, and you should go away.
I know, Graham. I know you're proud of me.
Oh, go there.
Oh, Joanna, you must be so proud of Melissa.
Oh, you go there.
She passed that bar exam first try.
And you go away. Joanne, did they be able to walk in? Say they got that beer on.
I'll be enough food, Graham. Gee.
And little Zuglabong is Gracie Petchipal? This new one, Zuglabong.
I'll go call her, see if the cake's coming. You always burn about food.
Joanna, you're such a lucky mom. You know that? You have two beautiful and very intelligent daughters.
Melissa, Twitter. Melissa, Twitter. How does that second it was? Second.
Way to go, Melissa.
Oh, look at your two beautiful daughters. I know. And how we did. Kodak moment, Yuda. Can I take your picture? How? Shut up.
Hold on here, everyone. Oh, wait a minute. James! You want to come stand here by your girlfriend?
Hurry up.
All right, everyone stand close together and smile. No, wait. Give me the camera. Give me the camera. Give me the camera!
Holy Melissa, what's wrong with you?
There's something I have to tell everybody.
What, you're pregnant?
No, I'm not pregnant. I got a job in New York, and I'm leaving.
New York, you're not going anywhere.
Don't tell me what to do.
Because I'll get take a go sport with Melissa.
I didn't lie.
That's about what the scary.
She's been lying. We've been here making plans, Melissa. What happened to all the plans about the program?
What?
Oh, will you stop protecting her?
Jiggy, what?
She's like that. She's nothing but a liar.
You know what? I don't even care. So what? Big plans. You know what? Those were your plans. Those weren't mine. You know what? I'm already gone.
Wait, stop. What are you doing?
I'm leaving.
You're leaving. New York City. What about your friends? What about your family? Look at me, please. What about us?
You know what? I wish I could care.
I don't. Melissa!
Ijisig na masid yang munim kwasid.
We want you to come up here and replace these characters and to try out your idea. And when you have an idea, yell, stop. And we will stop the play. There are already ideas, so let's start and see where they go. Where do you want to start? All right, from the beginning. And I'm a tribal employee, right? I'm personnel manager. Okay. How you doing? Oh, you scared me. Jeez. I'm sorry. What you doing? I'm getting some flowers ready for my mother. Oh, wow. Those are beautiful. I'm sure she'll love them. She loves it when I take her flowers. We have a problem. What? And I think it could involve her sister, I think. Let's go see. This little seed. Well, as you know, I'm the personnel manager, and we have a problem in our tribal system, tribal judicial system, and I heard your sister is finished law school. She's coming home. Well, our tribal lawyer is on his way out. He's given us 3 months. And do you think your sister could help us? Well, I don't know. We're coming home to do this immersion program. I don't know how much time she's going to have. She may be interested.
You think 3 months would be enough for her? And then, I mean, she could do it maybe part-time.
Maybe.
Yeah. We could pay her $175,000. That's holy. The other one was $200. So. What do you think?
I'm sure she'd think about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does she have her cell phone on her, you think?
She does, yeah.
Okay.
I could give you the number.
Okay, here, I've got the thing right here. Let's give her a call right now. We're desperate.
I don't know if she's answering.
Before that guy gets to her.
She's not answering.
Hello? Hello?
Oh, Melissa.
Gina? What are you doing?
Hearing's a body. I can't hear you.
Oh, yeah, it's a little fuzzy on this end. What's wrong? Is there something wrong?
No, there's a job offer.
Oh, is it with the language immersion program?
No.
No,
but it brings you back into the community.
Well, yeah, I had plans to do that anyways, but,
We can still do our work.
what's the job?
Legal or something.
Well, I did just graduate from law school.
Hang on for a second.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Melissa?
Yeah.
Hi, how you doing?
Who's this?
This is Nancy Soktoma.
Personnel manager at the tribal government.
Wow, nice to hear from you.
Hey,
What's wrong?
Well, we're real desperate. Well, in 3 months, our tribal lawyer, is going to be leaving us, and we need a replacement. And so, it comes to the grapevine that you're finishing up law school. What are the chances?
Well, I don't know how much time I'll have, but how desperate are you?
Well, we have 3 months still, and
Yeah.
you said you just finished, and you know, it's 8 to 4:30.
Well, I don't think it quite works like that, but I tell you what, when I come home, we could work out a little schedule, and I won't be able to work around yours. You're going to have to work around mine.
Did I tell you how much we're paying you?
No, you didn't.
$175,000.
How much was the other lawyer being paid?
$200.
Well, then how come you're paying me less if you're so desperate?
He's been here with us for 10 years. He finally he started off at 100.
I'm a tribal member, though.
So
Don't give me
was
that
he.
crap.
So was he.
Oh, my God.
He's going to New York.
Well...
No, edit that part. Okay. So what do you think? What do you think?
How about we work it out when I get home? I'll be home in 2 days. I'll come and see you then.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Yes.
You sure can.
How was that for you, Gina?
That was interesting. You know, I think that it's, I want her to keep her home, so, you know, she helped me with that.
Well, what I was trying to do is I'd like to see tribal government. I know we send a lot of people off to school everywhere. We need to grab them back if we can and if they want to for our own purposes. We're helping us here.
It's very powerful. I think that really struck me when we were in Aroostook County, when we finished that play and there was just silence and nobody clapped. And it was just like are they going to do anything? You know? I was like, come on, clap. Or, you know, were we that bad? You know? Yeah, that's when that got me. I was like, wow. And, I mean, people were able to say why, you know? Because it's all, I mean, we all experience that. I mean, it's not just here. I mean, it's there, it's everywhere. I mean, and what we were able to do with so many different ideas and then turn it into one and let it out there. I'm sure it brought up many different things for a lot of people. And then you could just see it in their face, you know. I mean, people were crying. I mean, they had a lot of really good things to say, and they had really good ideas on how to solve the struggles and the conflicts that we were going through in a very positive way. And I just thought of it as like, all right, you know, we're planting a lot of good seeds here, you know. As hard as it is, you know, they need to be talked about, you know. We don't need to be afraid of it anymore. And I think it gave them, you know, the ability to say, all right, you know, we can talk about this and we're going to intervene and we're going to say what we want to say. And it almost like it's given a little bit of that power back, you know, like this is okay. You know, we have came a long way, you know, since generations before, and, you know, what oppresses us can be fixed. You know, we can heal.
I'm a fluent native speaker. I was born and raised here. I attended school and I had to learn English in school. Generationally, we were told that it was better to speak English so that we can survive on the outside world. Because our own heritage was repressed by the state governments, by the federal governments, till it went into our own village and invaded the hearts of our own people. And that is why we are having such a difficult time. Now, after many years of oppression, we are learning, because we're losing ourselves, who we are. Language is a part of it. It's not something you learn in a book like other languages. It comes from the heart. It's who we are. It's the way we think and the way we do things. That's why it's difficult.
Our culture is just as important as anyone else's, and we're going to do anything and everything to preserve it, including our language. That's what we're doing. We're putting forth the effort in public or whatever, wherever, and whenever. Thank you.
I think that, genocide has different definitions, and one of them, and I think probably the most far-reaching, is the obliteration of language. Because within the language is the worldview and the values. And that's the global part, and very few people would look at that as genocide, but it is. And I think the reason that the language, the loss was accelerated was by television. And the other reason is, I think, the continuing internalized running of oppression between ourselves and blaming ourselves for the loss of it, which was counterproductive and held things back. And I really don't think that you can reclaim language. It would have to be a community-wide immersion with everybody participating to reclaim language. Because even people that are like trying to learn the language, they don't speak it the way I do. And I've had to let go of that. Like, I know that in my generation, I know that we cut off syllables at the beginning of syllables. So that's just probably the progression. And sometimes in my mind, I think it's like, it's the fast pace of life. You don't even have to have enough time to really say the words the way they're supposed to be. And Joanne and I talk about this. So that's one way that it's important. And the other way, I think, is what happened to all the individual players, how it stretched them in every way. And in every one of those people will use it in their own sphere, in connecting with other people, so it just kind of radiates out. It is as if you have this little plane that's the end of it. It's far-reaching, and I think it'll be long-lasting.
It's overwhelming what we're up against. It's incredible the odds that are stacked against us to revitalize the language. Can it be done? I don't know. But I know that my single individual effort has nowhere near the power of a collective awareness and commitment and action.
What do you hope for?
Nelgaktäpne Glenamit on Jutloka Wagnan Miss Midday, Miss Deck Lokadmanen, Naga Gigna Quickwimanen, which is a look at you, which is committed to know you that look at you, which is Ulimawi Ayuk, Kulim Tutinen, Tankia Tutinen, Talo Skitchino actually located, which is Scotty. But no money, a little down to you. Just go to Tuxica. You don't get in me, too.
Everyone was so involved that they just didn't want it to stop. It was a surprise that they were really into the plays and that we could make such a big difference.
Past years, the youngers told stories that went on for days. And I saw this story here going on for a month. If we could stay here for a whole month, we would all take part in the play. Because we start adding different characters in the play. And like I say, you could go on for that. As part of it, we as storytellers, it's passed down to us. And this is a story that's being told today. And the people that started it, would go on and on and on and on, and make it so interesting.
This story is a story about a man we call in our language Chutam, and his son Suzap And the story takes place when my people migrated with the seasons for their survival. It had started snowing early that morning, the day Joe Dum and his family were to journey to their winter home in the deep forest. Joe Dum had worked for days preparing his tools and materials that he needed for the winter months, and loading the meats and fish that he had dried during the summer, including the fruits and vegetables that he and his wife and family preserved. After the sled was loaded, Jotam prepared a special place in the back for his children so they can stay warm, and provided a place for them where they can play during a long journey. Zuzap was born early that spring and was not yet walking. But he was very active and very strong. And late that afternoon, as they journeyed through the deep snow, Zuzap had somehow fallen off in a sled onto the trail. And as Zuzap crawled around the deep snow, his cries echoed throughout the forest, alerting all the animals. A pair of beaver, we call in our language Quapidhig, came to see what was going on. And when they found Zuzap crawling around the snow, they realized that they needed to keep him warm and dry. So the beaver slid their tails underneath Zuzap to keep him off the snow. Then the moose came. In our language, we call moose. And Zuzap's cries were so loud that it even woke the bear. In our language, the bear is Muin. Then the caribou came, Magalib, and the deer, Aduk, and the fox, Squawkses, and the wolf, Molson, and they all laid in a circle around Zuzap and the beaver. Then all the other smaller animals came. The raccoon, Espins, the porcupine, Mudwash, the rabbit, Mottagwash, the weasel, Sagwash, the mink, Geocache, the otter, Gilnig, the muskrat, Gilhus, the squirrel, Miku, and the mouse, Abikshasis, and they all filled in all of the gaps that needed to be filled in this great circle of animals. And at sunset, the owl came. Gukuk Haas, the raven, Chigagog, the crow, Gakagus, the Canadian jay, Skungus, the duck, Madhasim, the geese, Waptaguhig, even the seagull came. Giak, and they all perched on top of the animals. And much later, the great bald eagle came. Chichi Plagan, and she spread her wings all over the other birds and the animals. And as Jotam and his family arrived at their winter home, they soon realized that Suzap was missing. So the whole family quickly unloaded the sled as Jotam fed his horses to Hasum and started a fire for his family. Jotam then grabbed some dried food and told his family that he was going back for Suzap. Jotam traveled all night till dawn the next morning. And at sunrise, he came upon this huge mound of snow on the trail. And he noticed an eagle on top of the pile of snow, and the eagle says to him, Suzap is here. We knew you would come back. And as the great bird and the other birds flew off, and the other animals stood up, Jotam could see his son laying in a ball, fast asleep. Then Jotam went over and picked him up and carried him over to the sled. When Jotam and Suzap arrived at their winter camp, his family rejoiced and celebrated with a feast, sang, and danced. absquatune, Durham Caweezer, Quiet one,